Why is everyone talking about colostrum, and is it good for your skin? Let's discuss. What exactly is colostrum? Well, milk is secreted by females of all mammalian species with the primary function of providing the nutritional needs of their neonatal offspring. Colostrum is actually the first secretion that is produced at the time the baby is born. It is produced within the first few days, and it, in contrast to milk, has a lower lactose concentration, but a high concentration of a variety of beneficial compounds for the neonatal offspring. These include fat, proteins, growth factors, vitamins, minerals, something called immunoglobulins, which are really important for the baby's immune system, as well as cytokines, nucleotides, and a variety of hormones. Colostrum is yellow to reddish in color depending on the animal, and in contrast to milk, it is slightly more acidic. It has a pH of around 6.4. Human colostrum produced at the time of birth and given to baby can be incredibly beneficial for baby. However, what about consuming colostrum from other species as adults? Is that beneficial? Or what about putting it on our skin? You have to understand that what companies are not telling you about colostrum is that it is highly variable in terms of the respective constituents. It varies a lot from breed, for example. Not all bovine colostrum is identical, and it varies a lot from animal to animal in that it depends a lot on how many times that animal has been pregnant before. It also varies a lot on the nutritional status of the animal, and there's also a huge amount of variation between different animals. Sheep colostrum is much different from goat colostrum, from bovine colostrum. These are things to keep in mind because it's not as though these things are standardized. It also depends significantly on when the colostrum was collected. Colostrum collected within the first 3 days of birth is more nutrient dense in comparison to it collected maybe 5 days. And this is important because when it comes to colostrum as a dietary supplement or as an ingredient in skincare products, it is not standardized in terms of when things are collected or how things are processed. And there's no established criteria for what constitutes good quality colostrum collection and dosage. One of the reasons why colostrum is so beneficial, for example, in the case of a newborn baby calf, is that it contains a high concentration of immunoglobulin G. And immunoglobulins are something that our immune system makes, and they're like little darts that bind onto foreign substances and help target them for elimination or attack by our immune system. Neonates are still developing their immune systems. So if they consume colostrum at the time of birth, some of these immunoglobulins, which are quite enriched in colostrum, actually can cross their gut and provide some passive immunity. What else is there going on in colostrum that could be beneficial, specifically with regards to the skin, whether it be ingestion or applying it topically? Something called lactoferrin. Now, lactoferrin is an ingredient in colostrum that probably has some of the more compelling research to support its interest in skincare. Lactoferrin is a protein found not just in milk, but in human bodily fluids, nasal secretions. It binds iron. It has antibacterial properties, it has antiviral properties, it has antifungal properties, and it's an antioxidant. If you recall back to my video on how pollution impacts our skin and contributes to the aging process of our skin, you'll recall that skincare products that help to sequester away iron may help offset some of the damaging effects of pollution on our skin. So that is a potential benefit of lactoferrin, which, yes, is found in abundance in colostrum. A topically applied lactoferrin gel has actually shown promise for having wound healing benefits for people with diabetic ulcers. There's also a small bit of research suggesting that topically applied lactoferrin may be beneficial for people with acne in terms of reducing the number of acne lesions, and also may be beneficial for people who have psoriasis in terms of making the skin lesions of psoriasis thinner, less red, and less flaky. However, these studies with regards to acne, wound healing, and psoriasis are small, limited. They have numerous issues in and of themselves. Some of them do not include controls. Others are using lactoferrin in combination with other things that might explain the benefits observed in the studies as well. In other words, more research is needed. Colostrum is rich in vitamins. Now, there are so many skincare products to choose from in this day and age, and how many times do I get on here and talk about skincare products and start talking to you guys about the ingredients, and no sooner does the video start and I'm already yammering on about niacinamide, right? Niacinamide is a B vitamin. It's really popular in skincare. It has a variety of benefits for the skin in terms of improving redness, hyperpigmentation. It's good for the moisture barrier. It has anti-aging properties. It's been shown to be beneficial for people with acne-prone skin. It may help reduce skin yellowing as it relates to age-related changes. Guess what also has niacinamide? Colostrum. In addition to that, it also has ascorbic acid, aka vitamin C, which is important for healthy collagen production. And research suggests that when formulated correctly in skincare products, ascorbic acid can not only improve collagen production and have a wrinkle smoothing effect, but it also can mitigate some of the damaging effects of ultraviolet radiation. While colostrum does contain ascorbic acid, to what extent it remains stable enough to actually get into your skin and lead to the same outcomes is questionable. It's very challenging to formulate ascorbic acid in skincare products such that it actually gets into the skin in an effective way. So, to what extent it's doing that much in colostrum applied to the skin is questionable. Colostrum also contains fat-soluble vitamins. Remember, in contrast to milk, colostrum has more fat. It's a lot denser. It also has fat-soluble vitamins. This is really good for the baby. Vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. Now, vitamin E applied to the skin can also help offset some of the damaging effects of ultraviolet radiation on the skin. I have a whole video on the benefit of vitamin E in skincare products, so definitely check that video out. It can help slow down lipid peroxidation. Colostrum is also rich in minerals such as zinc and copper, which likewise can help offset some of the damaging effects of ultraviolet radiation of free radicals from environmental aggressors on the skin. And it contains a variety of amino acids, which can be hydrating for your skin. With it being so rich in fat-soluble vitamins, other vitamins, minerals, micronutrients, it probably sounds like consuming it is going to be the end-all be-all for healthier, radiant skin. We just don't have any research to support that. Colostrum supplements, you really have to take with a grain of salt. It's got a lot of nutrients and vitamins and minerals that are going to be beneficial for human health. But to what extent consuming a colostrum supplement with these in the absence of a confirmed deficiency is truly beneficial for your skin, I really question that. There's just not adequate research. But one might imagine that applying it to the skin in a well-formulated product could potentially have skin benefits in terms of, well, moisturizing the skin, as well as perhaps offering some vitamins that we know applied topically can be beneficial, and some minerals that may have an anti-inflammatory effect. Probably one of the ingredients in colostrum that is most intriguing to people is the fact that it is enriched in growth factors. Growth factors in colostrum include epidermal growth factor, insulin-like growth factor, transforming growth factor beta or TGF beta, and TGF alpha. Growth factor, growth factor, growth factor. Sounds exciting, sounds like it must be a wonder to consume, to bathe in, but I do have to side-eye this for a few reasons. Consuming growth factors, if they actually remain stable in whatever it is that you are ingesting, you do have to question the safety. Not all growth factors are necessarily going to be beneficial for you. Insulin-like growth factor, for example, can have a pro-cancer effect. Also, when it comes to the skin, we know that insulin-like growth factor may be responsible for skin tags, as well as driving skin hyperpigmentation, skin thickening, and also for a condition known as acanthosis nigricans. But they're not going to tell you that on the supplement, right? Like, they're going to claim growth factors, but they're not going to say, well, insulin-like growth factor, probably don't want to just be consuming that willy-nilly. Also has a variety of hormones such as estrogens, progesterones, thyroid hormone. Now, when you ingest this, to what extent those hormones actually make it to your body to have impact on target tissues, you do kind of have to question the safety of consuming such a hormone-enriched fraction of non-human animal secretions. Suffice it to say, scientific data regarding the efficacy, the safety, the utility of either topically applied colostrum or ingested colostrum, really for any health outcome, I should say, is very sparse. There is a patent pending on a horse colostrum for skincare. According to the patent, they are examining it and claiming it's going to be an effective cosmetic for KP, keratosis pilaris, for seborrheic dermatitis, for irritation of the skin, for skin burns. They've allegedly demonstrated that it is moisturizing, soothing, anti-inflammatory. When it comes to ingesting a colostrum supplement, I have more reservations there. So colostrum supplements, they're dietary supplements. There are a lot of things that we don't know about the individual components of colostrum in a colostrum supplement in terms of safety. Remember, I pointed out my concerns with regards to insulin-like growth factor could potentially be harmful in some situations, if it's even in there. Then it's like, what is the best dose? That hasn't been established, which is really important. I think a lot of people assume that if they just take something that they're going to be getting all of the benefits of it, when in reality, if there's no dosing data to guide that, you could be underdosed or you could be overdosed to a point where you're actually having more harmful effects than beneficial. Like I said at the start of the video, there is so much variability out there that even within a brand itself, there's probably going to be a lot of heterogeneity in terms of the quality and constitution of their colostrum. And again, it varies a lot from animal to animal. Which one should you go with? Should you go with cow? Should you go with goat? Should you go with sheep? Who knows? Because there's no research to guide this. All you're going off of is what the supplement manufacturer claims. There was even a study that demonstrated a lot of variation in terms of the outcomes of different colostrum supplements on at least cell behavior in vitro. So not all colostrum supplements are going to perform the same, and you as a consumer have no way of knowing really what you're getting yourself into. Remember, dietary supplements are not regulated. And the reason this is so important is that the label does not have to undergo any kind of scrutiny. So there's no pre-approval of the labeling before going to market. One thing I always have found sort of ironic about a lot of the people who promote colostrum supplements is they're very, anti-processed foods. They're very trying to advocate for more of a natural or ancestral, is kind of the buzzword, lifestyle. But then they recommend a colostrum supplement. But here's the thing, when it comes to the colostrum supplements, it's about as processed as you could possibly get. They collect it at the farm, they freeze it, and then they ship it off to these places where it is either defatted, or some cases it's not, but a lot of times it's defatted, which may be necessary for stability, I don't know. And then they freeze dry it. They remove some of the lactose too. Also, oftentimes it will be exposed to high temperature for short duration to pasteurize it, so it's safe for human consumption. So say the colostrum is collected within 3 days, so when it's most potent. But by the time it's collected, it's frozen and shipped, you know, all of those beneficial compounds starts to, you know, you really have to question, are they still there? Have they been degraded? That seems very likely to me. So to what extent those beneficial compounds are going to be relevant to you, have the same bioavailability, is questionable. You're going to likely lose some of those beneficial compounds. I mean, defatting alone has to impact at least the absorption of the fat-soluble vitamins. One popular colostrum supplement that I have seen, I just find it interesting. You know, I'm not a dietitian, but I find it interesting. Colostrum is like this super nutrient-dense little fatty milk nugget that is meant for newborns, babies, calves, whatever. But look at any colostrum supplement, powdered supplement, there's like nothing on the nutritional label. Very little protein per serving. Most of them are 0 calorie. And so I have to ask, like, what exactly is the final product then by the time it is processed into a powder, and what is in that colostrum? Like I said, colostrum is variable. It's more than just a name, is what I'm getting at. So their colostrum, what exactly is the makeup at the time it is in the powder form? You'll notice there's no disclosure on pretty much any of these with regards to how much vitamin A is in the product, how much vitamin E, how much vitamin C, how much of any of these compounds of interest in the colostrum. Sometimes they will report the IgG, which may be a surrogate for overall quality, but its relevance in humans in terms of to what extent, if any, it's going to offer benefit remains unknown. So to what extent that colostrum remains as nutrient dense by the time it gets into a powder form, who knows? All right, guys, so that's what I can tell you about colostrum for your skin. The data are lacking. Makes some sense that you might appreciate some skin benefit, but to what extent it's going to be above and beyond just using a niacinamide moisturizer, who knows? More research is needed. Hope this video was helpful to you all. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.